If you're watching this video, it might mean that you're engaged. Congratulations. Or maybe you've been with your partner for a while, you've started talking about marriage and getting married. You're not officially engaged, but that doesn't mean you can't start looking at wedding planning tips and venues and things like that. So congratulations on just getting the process started and just starting to even think about it. Now you're like, where do I start? What do I do? And everyone's asking me, when's the big date? When are we getting invites? Do you know what you're gonna do for food yet? Etc., etc. And you're like, please just leave me alone because I am getting to it. You're trying not to freak out, but you're a little bit freaking out because you're probably thinking, oh my God, if I want to get married this year, should I have started already? Are all the popular wedding venues going to be taken? Where do I even start? There's so much to do. People have told me it feels like another full-time job, that they spend hours a week planning their own wedding and they just are so lost and they don't know what to do and it costs so much money. Help! As an event planner who's planned hundreds of events, including weddings and non-weddings, there's a few things that I've come to observe about couples as clients and about couples planning their wedding. With the knowledge that I have, I wanted to share just a few things you might want to take note of as you get started. A lot of times people start with what to do. The first thing they do is search for their venue or when the best time is to get married. And they do a lot of Googling of what to do, planning timelines, etc. But in reality, you should really get grounded in a few things before you even start tackling any type of task. One of the first things that I think needs to happen is that you have to accept that it's going to be a stressful process. It just is. I'm just going to lay it out there. Whether you have a planner, whether you have a lot of budget, whether you're really organized, super excited to start planning the wedding, there are just so many decisions to make, a lot of emotions, a lot of family and friendship dynamics involved. Even best case scenario, there's just a sheer amount of things to get done. Just that alone is a stressful process. I have been planning events since 2013. I planned my own wedding in 2018. And to be honest, it was really stressful. Even though I knew what I was doing for the most part, at that point I hadn't planned as many weddings, just corporate and marketing events. But I had always had wedding clients on the side for friends or friends of friends. And I had always wondered why they seemed so stressed out because I was there to help them. But when I was planning my own wedding, I was like, oh, I get it, because it's my money or my parents' money or whatever budget that you have set aside for it, but you're really trying to stick within that. It's different from a corporate event where I have hundreds of thousands of dollars to plan something. And it's personal money, it's expectations, it's trying to make decisions, balancing an actual job and planning your wedding. That's a lot of work. Once you accept that it's stressful, it's going to be stressful, we can move on to the things you actually need to do. But a lot of times just acknowledging that it's okay, you're not alone in the stress, you're not alone in feeling crazy, I think that is going to help a lot when starting the actual planning process. The second thing I would suggest is you have to think of planning in phases, in chunks, because otherwise you're just going to drive yourself crazy with the sheer amount of things to do. And there is a general order in which things should be done. And if you want, you can download. I have a little document that you could download for free. It's in the link below, but it's an overall planning timeline, or you can call it a wedding planning checklist. It's meant for anyone who's planning their wedding over ideally 10 to 12 months, but you can also truncate the first kind of phases. You can kind of figure it out after you download the PDF to see what kind of phases your wedding should be planned in. For example, you obviously have to choose a venue and date before you even think about what the day is actually going to look like. Sometimes I feel like couples get bogged down in details that don't matter yet before even selecting a date or season or a venue. Ideally, I always recommend that couples give themselves at least 8 months to plan their wedding. I feel like that's a pretty healthy amount of time to do all of the tasks at hand. That said, a lot of popular wedding venues do tend to get booked pretty quickly, especially in the popular seasons like September, October, May, June. Those are some pretty popular months, especially if you really want to get married on a Saturday. Of course, Planning earlier will help you get the vendors and venues that you really want. But in terms of tasks and things that you need to get done, I think 8 months is a pretty healthy amount of time. Of course, the more time you have, the more time you can take. But sometimes having more time means you have more time to think about what to decide. I feel like 8 to 10 months is really like a great sweet spot. I know people who've planned their weddings in way less than 8 months. And I've actually planned a lot of corporate events in less than 6 weeks, to be honest. But of course, that means you're working on it pretty much every single day. And I don't think anyone really wants to do that for their wedding. You really want to enjoy the process in phases, month to month, and really enjoy the engagement period because it really goes by in a flash and it only comes once, hopefully. Number 3, sure, there is a standard to weddings in terms of the elements, right? There's ceremony, cocktail hour, followed by dinner and dancing. That's what you would consider standard, at least in the US. But I do want to urge you to think about how you want to make it your own. You don't have to do what everyone else does. I always encourage clients or anyone I talk to that's getting married, you can do really whatever you want. I understand there are expectations sometimes from parents, from family members, from anyone who might be helping you finance the wedding. I think it's important to have a conversation with them and ask them, is this a gift with strings attached? Like, are there expectations? Are you expecting to invite some of your friends, etc.? Because you don't want to have any surprises down the road with expectations that come up that you didn't know about that's going to add to your plate. And once you have that conversation out of the way, you know how you need to move forward with certain things. And I would really urge you to think about what's going to make you and your partner happy. It's the one day that you and your partner have to celebrate your love together with your friends and family, the most important people really, to the two of you. So I would encourage you to really think about what's important to you, how you want to tell your story, and everything else, including guest experience, making family happy. I think that will all fall into place. I think it is good to understand what is standard or traditional when it comes to weddings, but I think it's totally great to be able to put your variation on it. So a good example is 2 partners get married who are from different cultures. I had a past client, the bride was Mexican and the groom was Japanese. So in the ceremony, they decided to do a simple lasso ceremony, which is traditionally Mexican. And they also did a tea ceremony, which is a Japanese custom. It was a very simple and subtle touch point. It was paying homage to their families and to the traditions because that was important to them. That's just one example of how you can incorporate who you are into the wedding without deviating so far from what's standard, but it's still unique to the two of you. If you keep these 3 things in mind while you're planning, I think it will lay a pretty solid foundation for you and your partner as you move forward with the planning process. It's not going to be a perfect process. What you want today might be different from what you want tomorrow, but it's okay. You just got to go with the flow. It's okay to feel the stress and it's okay to be annoyed and upset sometimes. It's going to happen. You're not alone. Remember to take things one step at a time, a few tasks at a time, and I think it'll really help keep you sane. And lastly, remember to be yourself. That sounds so cliche, but I think it's really important that you understand that it is about you and your love, and however you want to celebrate it is okay. If you just want to elope and that's all you do, amazing. If you want a big blowout party with 300 people because that's something that you really want to do, then more power to you. I think you just have to decide what's important to you. I always love telling couples, this is your story. This is a chance to tell your story in whatever way possible, and also a chance to celebrate with the most important people in your life. I hope you found that helpful as you're getting started on your wedding planning journey. I know the road looks really long ahead, but it's okay. You're gonna be able to do it. You got this. If you enjoyed this video, you might find this one useful. I created one about your wedding planning mindset, just a few steps to take between you and your partner as you get started. It's a little bit different from this one, but you might also enjoy that. If you're really overwhelmed and already stressed about wedding planning, I think it's really important just to get your mind right first and then get into it. You can also watch this as a reminder throughout your wedding planning just to reground yourself, because trust me, I know how stressful it can be with so many things to do and with people involved and so much research to do. So I hope this is a really helpful video to watch as you're getting started on your planning journey, and I wish you the best of luck. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please click that like button. And if you want to see more wedding planning content, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you in the next one. Happy planning!